guys and girls, welcome back to Watch the Time. So today I'm going to be featuring another Steeldive. This one came out not quite recently actually. I saw it on AliExpress. As I do, I was having a little peruse to see what watches I would get in next. The price was good. It comes in at sort of 50 odd pound, which is probably about 60, 70 odd dollars. And for that you're getting quite a lot for your money. But then when I was factoring in the import that you have to pay 20% on top of it, I thought I'd head over to Steeldive UK, and I managed to pick it up for £69 delivered within a couple of days. So that's what I ended up doing. I'll leave a link to that, but I'll also leave a link, an affiliate link taking you to the watch on AliExpress. Obviously buy whichever one suits your budget better. This is the SD8103. They've made this to sort of commemorate the Wright brothers, the first flight, and actually looks pretty cool. Not perfect. I think it might be a tad small. I don't want to say too much too early, but in terms of the specs, it's running a sort of mecha quartz movement, sapphire crystal, good loom, and really nice leather strap. So yeah, it ticks a lot of boxes, and it makes quite a nice difference from all the dive watches. I love dive watches, don't get me wrong, but it's nice to have something a little bit different. I know pilots watches not everyone's cup of tea, but I think this one's done pretty well, to be honest, especially for the price. But I really appreciate you tuning back in, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. And without further ado, let's get the camera turned around and get on with it. Hi guys, so this is the watch. As you can see, it comes in the pretty standard Steeldive packaging. The briefcase style, nice and hard, offers good protection. I've undone most of the clips, and you've got one more to do, and then you're left with the watch inside. I'll put that to the side just for a moment. It does come with another sleeve. I've got the wrapping and the tang inside that. Got an instruction manual just there, and it also comes with a warranty card, again not signed, so maybe that's something Steeldive need to address, given the price is creeping up and the fact that other companies in their price range do sign their warranty cards and stuff, so that might be something to consider, Steeldive. But this is the watch, guys. Yeah, it looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Yeah, so the model number for this is the SD8103. Inside it's running it's a quartz movement, it's a mecha quartz, that's why it's giving you a few ticks. I'll bring some information up for that now, so you can see the details of the watch and the movement, because it's sort of like a hybrid really. So with these mecha quartz movement, what you're getting is you're getting a bit of a sweep, not as seamless as obviously an automatic, but the thing is, there's a trade-off to be had really, because you don't also have to worry about servicing and whatever, changing the movement. After a couple of years, unscrew the back, change the battery, screw it back up, and off you pop. So I think this, for a lot of people, is a very good compromise actually. Says the VH31. The case material, fixed bezel crown case back, which again is the deeper etch, which I really like actually. I think it looks pretty cool. It's all 316L stainless steel, as is the pin buckle clasp. The case thickness of this watch is 11.1 millimeters. The case diameter, when you go from the 8 to the 2 is where I usually measure, is 36.1. When you go from the 9 to the 3, including the crown, it becomes 39.7 millimeters. The lug width is 18, and the lug to lug, tip to tip of this watch is 45 millimeters. So very compact, quite small dimensions, which won't be in keeping for everybody, but we'll talk about that in a bit. The case back style, I'll show you one more time. I'm sure if you've had a Steeldive, you've seen this many times now, but I really like it. Very deep etch, you can feel the etching, very cool. Excuse me guys. The bezel is a fixed high polished bezel, as I'm sure you'll be able to make out. Looks pretty cool also. The bezel, the crown is situated at the 3, and it is a screw down crown, which also helps with that water resistance. The strap that comes on this is a leather strap, and actually there's one thing about it that's not ideal, is the length, but in terms of how it feels very premium, to be honest guys. Let's have a look at it. It's actually really nice. No debate about it being genuine leather. It is a very nice strap. I wouldn't expect to get this on a watch in and around £60-70, to be honest. It's a very nice strap. It has got a pin buckle, not signed unfortunately, but yeah, pin buckle clasp on it. The crystal covering that dial is sapphire crystal. I tested it and it's a bit of flat sapphire crystal. And it's got a little bit of AR coating on there, just about enough to make it so that it doesn't reflect too much. The water resistance of this watch, you'll give it a quick wipe. Believe it or not, is 200 meters. As I've said, a lot of these watches, they're not going to be certified, but the case is screwed down, solid construction, screwed down crown, the crystal seated nicely. I think this will be you could easily take this swimming if you desire. Maybe not on the leather strap, but you could definitely take it swimming if you just put it on some sort of Nate or something like that. So that's 200 meters, 20 atmospheres of water resistance, and the weight will appear in the top right hand corner. It's in and around 55 grams, give or take. But let's have a look at the dial now, guys. What you've got is going around the edge. You've got a railway track going around the outer edge, and increments of minutes and seconds for that. Just in every 5, you've got the sort of orangey colour, in increments of 5 counting up. Let me undo the crown actually, guys, so you can have a look at the dial even more. None of the elements on the dial are applied. They're all printed on, but that doesn't really cause any issues. As I say, you put it back in, the movement will start up, but given the fact it is a quartz movement, you would expect it to have hacking. I like the fact that the colour of orange they've used on the hands and on the numerals from 1 to 12, it all matches nicely, the same colour, and the lume on this actually is spot on. I'm sure you would expect it given the fact it's a Steeldive, and I'll bring that up now. The lume on Steeldive watches is very, very difficult to match really at the price point, and with their competitors. They don't tend to put quite as much lume as Steeldive. They've become almost the lume kings really. They don't mess about with their lume. But yeah, so what you have, you've got numerals just inside the railway track. Just below the 12, you've got Steeldive printed on to the dial. So you've got the logo and in script writing. Just above the 6, you've got Pilot 1903, 200 meters. This was limited edition. I'm not sure if they're going to keep it that way, but that was what they said on the Steeldive UK where I bought it. I tend to buy most of my watches on AliExpress, but with import and stuff, this watch actually worked out about the same price to buy on Steeldive UK, and I got it within a couple of days, so it was much more convenient for me. I do like the hands, I've got to say, guys, sort of cathedral style hands. The second hand, I love the fact it reaches out and kisses the sort of back end of the railway track. Very, very nice. The proportions are done very, very well, and I do just like these type of hands. They're becoming quite popular on watches. But yeah, like I say, that's the dial. They've used the same sort of 3 colours. You've got the matte black or sort of high polished black of the dial, with the contrast of the 2 sort of shades of orange, if you like. And I think it looks very, very cool. But let me pop it on the wrist now, guys, give you an idea of what it looks like on my wrist. As I've said before, my wrist is just above a 7-inch wrist. Let me just get this on. Give me 1 second. And as I said a moment ago, the only thing I would say, especially when you consider the dimensions of this watch, it's quite a small watch. It's not one of the bigger watches. It's quite small. And as you can see, I don't know if you can make this up, there's only one more hole to make it tighter, but many, many holes to make it bigger. So I feel like the strap, they've got the proportions wrong given the fact it's only a 36mm watch. So the strap is way too long for the watch really. But yeah, that's what it looks like on my wrist. As I say, not too small, but at the lower end of probably where I'd go with the watches I wear. But so let me just take that off now, and then we can sort of crack on with what I think is pants and pucker about the watch. Do remember, guys, this is just a subjective thing. You're going to see things you like and don't like, and also be other things that I don't mention everything, but just sort of a few things that I think are pants and pucker. So what I think is pants is I'd go with the case size. Actually, yeah, I think it's a little bit too small, to be honest, if that's a thing. I think this would have probably been good at a sort of 38mm, maybe a couple mil bigger. I think that would have been pretty much bang on. The strap length, yeah, what they've done with the length of this strap, I'm not really sure. You probably could make a couple more holes, but you shouldn't really need to. I feel like the strap is just too long. And just as unsigned elements in terms of on the crown and on the pin buckle clasp, they would have done well just to put the logo on there. It's quite a cool logo. so-called Steeldive have copied it almost. So yeah, I'm not sure why they haven't put their logo on those bits of the watch. So yeah, the unsigned elements. So just to surmise, I'll go with the case size, the strap length, and the unsigned elements in terms of what I think is pants. What I think is pukka is, yeah, the sapphire crystal for a watch coming in anywhere between 50 and 70 pound. Sapphire crystal, I'm always going to be happy with that. As I mentioned before, the hands, they look very, very cool, along with the numerals. I think it looks all good in proportion. Very, very nice. The loom, yeah, the loom's banging. You probably would expect it now on Steeldive. They kind of spoil us a little bit with loom on the watches they produce. The movement, actually, I will say the movement. I know it's not going to be to everyone's taste, but these hybrid sort of mecha quartz movements that Seiko do, the VK series, VH series, I think they're a good compromise for someone who wants the reliability of a quartz, but a general look sometimes of an automatic, and with the fact you can just change the battery. So yeah, the movement's pretty cool. The leather strap, in terms of, forget the length for a second, in terms of how it feels, this strap is beautiful, to be honest, guys. You'd probably spend a good few quid just on this strap. And the price, I think anywhere between 50 and 70 pound, this is a great buy. If you want a smaller sort of pilot style watch, I think this watch is definitely one that you should be looking at. So, but they're just not to move on too quickly, so let me just surmise quickly. I'll go with the sapphire crystal, the hands, the loom, the leather strap, and the price and the movement, excuse me, in terms of what I think is pukka. And would I recommend this watch? Yeah, I would. Just bear in mind it isn't the biggest watch, but if you're after something a little bit smaller, with all the functionality in terms of how it looks, in terms of the loom, in terms of the movement, in terms of the fact it's a grab and go, I think this is definitely one to add to your collection. But guys and girls, let me know what you think about this watch, and maybe any other watches you may want to see on the channel. And as always say, don't forget to like and subscribe, and always watch your time. Take care, guys. All the very best.